Hello and welcome to episode 71 of your favourite VR podcast, Cross Button VR. Laurie, he's not here again because he's getting very old and is celebrating a pretty big birthday, but he will be back next week. You do have myself, Alyx, and Reese to take you through all the latest news, which has not been a lot of this week, and games in the world of VR. If you don't already, please do follow, subscribe, like, comment, review, engage in whatever way you like, even come and pop into our Discord. You find a little link there. It might be a nice, shiny new Discord. Maybe. Reese, hello. How are you?
Hello. How you doing?
I'm all right. I'm on my holidays.
Yeah,
I've officially finished work for 2 whole weeks.
And you're usually a smiley chappy, aren't you? You usually do have a good smile on you sometimes, but you have an extra one today for some reason. You've just literally just revealed that with "I'm on holiday," and that's why you've got a Cheshire grin.
And a slightly double celebration because I already had my little hiatus to do my exams and everything, and I got my final result yesterday and I passed everything, and I'm never studying again.
Never again.
Never again. Biggest mistake of my life was to do another qualification. Far too old for that now.
At least you did it though.
I know. It's good. It's done.
Well done, mate. Proud of you.
Thank you. As I said, not a lot of news this week, but there is a little bit. So, first thing I wanted to mention, and this is because maybe 3 or 4 episodes ago, Laurie mentioned that an ideal thing for VR would be a WarioWare-esque game or Mario Party-esque game with loads of mini games. And announced this week is Leeroy, which is described as a WarioWare mini game extravaganza. WarioWare-like mini game extravaganza, or WarioWare crossed with memes, I think is how they actually put it, wasn't it?
I was going to say, there's something about memes in there, and that was the one finish made me go, ooh, intriguing. And then I watched the trailer, and I was like, do you just reenact memes? Because if so, like, I want to play this right now.
Yeah. It does look quite fun. So it looks, it is coming to Steam and Quest, so no announcement for PSVR 2 at the moment, but it's coming later in the year. And there's a trailer out now, so I advise you go and check it out. It does look quite fun. It looks like, I think, 100 mini games? I'm not sure, but
there was quite a few they mentioned, and then even watching the trailer, it seemed like there was a good handful of mini games just from a small trailer. I think the trailer felt like it's about a minute long, so if they just crammed that much into the one trailer, I'm sure they've got a lot more coming.
Yes,
and
100 plus, it says 100 plus brilliant, bizarre, and baffling challenges to play solo or online with up to 6 people. And then that online with up to 6 people could be a bit of a laugh. I think
that's going to be hilarious. Looking forward to that.
So they are, if you do go to the Discord, they are doing some beta testing, kicking off any time. So if you want to go in and you've got a Quest, you can go and check it out early. But looks fun. It does look fun. One that I'm not sure that looks quite as fun. So this week we got a trailer for Attack on Titan VR. One that you were looking forward to, Reese, I think.
I was looking forward to it. Sorry, I need a minute. I was looking forward to Attack on Titan. When I first saw that it was announced and come in, I was like, okay, this is going to be awesome. It's going to look great. It's going to play great. I mean, I don't know how it plays, so I'll get to what I'm thinking of that soon. But obviously, with the actual visual of the game, it doesn't look that great. The Titans themselves, they don't have much depth to them. So I think on its own, just from first visuals, it's not good. But I do still think in my mind that the gameplay is going to be quite fun, obviously using the gear and slashing these Titans. I'm not really too sure how they're going to work in with the slices, because in the trailer when they showed that, it looked like you sliced and it kind of did a pause and then it dismembered and things like that. But hopefully it's a bit different in the game. But yeah, it's something I'm interested in. I was interested in. I don't know if I am as much anymore, but I'm still willing to play it just simply because I want to know what it feels like to be zipping around and protecting the town and using all the different weapons.
Yeah. So. I mean, that was a bit that appealed to me, like the zipping around and all that, and how you were getting into attack these giants or titans, or if they're called. I know nothing about the anime. I'm not an anime person, but I don't understand. Are they naked in the show? Like, is that a thing? Right? Yeah. Why don't they have penises?
Next question. I'm gonna go shout. I watched the first season of Attack on Titan a long time ago, and I went to continue watching it, and then they didn't add the next seasons on there, so I was meant to grab the box set at some point, and just I don't know. I think I'll end up watching something else at the time. But from what I've seen of the show, it's really good. Like, don't get me wrong. Like the houses and everything in the trailer, the actual set of the game, it looks very reminiscent to the show. They've got that on lock. That looks really well. But it's just the Titans, they don't have much depth to them. And even like your hands and your weapons and things like that might not have that much depth. But at the end of the day, this is just a quest. Is it coming to Steam as well, or is it just a Quest game?
I think it is. It's definitely coming to Quest. I'm not sure about Steam. I think it might be coming to Steam. It's certainly not announced for PSVR 2 yet.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, the bump in resolution, I think, is when you like first this game, the bump in resolution, some extra graphical fidelity is something this game would benefit from. But I'm not diminishing the gameplay yet, because looking at that gameplay, it looks like a blast. And I always look back to other games I've played where you look at them and you go, oh, that doesn't look too great. And you play it and you go, don't look great, but it plays amazing. And I think that's one of the magical things about VR is that, you know, I think gameplay always trumps the graphics for me. Don't get me wrong, I do like a high fidelity game every now and then. It absolutely blows my mind, but you can't always get those. So I'm about 50-50 now. I was originally like 80-20, and now it's kind of, you know.
And I mean, it's coming to early access on Quest on 23rd of July for chapters 1 and 2, and they said chapters 1 and 2 each would be about 3 hours. So there was quite a lot there for what, $5, which probably translates to about £4. It's good value. Certainly worth at that price point. It feels silly not to try it.
Yeah, I'd be interested, definitely still.
Yeah. But you did mention sort of gameplay overlooks, and generally that's unfair in this next game. But I'm going to move on to Walkabout Mini Golf again. We love Walkabout Mini Golf, talk about, because it does look nice as well, but it's not like cutting edge graphics. It's very
exactly. You can get better looking golf games, but I think they wouldn't have that charm that this one has, and I think that's what a lot of VR games give you, is that charm.
And all it's going to get is even more charming on July 25th when Wallace and Gromit finally enter the mix. So they have announced the release date, and they've kind of shown some behind the scenes videos of what they're doing. And what I'm loving about seeing this, and I've noticed today, is they're promoting Wallace and Gromit. Like, Wallace and Gromit is a very British thing. It's hugely British, but they're promoting in terms of a lot of Wallace and Gromit to the world, showing like some trailers for behind the scenes of how it was made and things like this, and it's just going to make everybody fall in love with Wallace and Gromit, because it's hard not to. My son was sitting watching Wallace and Gromit with my husband yesterday for the first time, and he was loving it. He's like, I don't want to watch this, I want to watch CBeebies. And you're like, no, we'll just watch this. And then he was killing himself laughing at it.
It's great. I think it's every childhood's memory right there, isn't it? I remember getting shown it when I was really young, and it's stuck with me since. Like, it's one of the things that's kind of just went as you've grown up, and then you've seen the other work that they've done as well, like Chicken Run, and just, I'm sure there's probably something else in there as well, but they're the two that stick to me, like Wallace and Gromit and Chicken Run. So, no, I'm really, really excited to play this. I think it's going to give me that same nostalgia that the Labyrinth course gave me. Because I remember that being one of the first courses we all played together, and I was just like walking around going, oh no, this is exactly how it is in the film. And you guys are like all just taking your shots, and I couldn't care less about actually playing the golf. I just wanted to keep looking around the map, and I think that's exactly how it's going to be with Wallace and Gromit for me. So, really excited to see this.
Yeah, me too. I mean, Arbin are just such a creative team, and they're just, the whole design of Wallace and Gromit just fits so nicely into Walkabout Mini Golf. And I think when you've seen the first look at the characters and the first look at the courses, you're just like, oh, it's going to be so good. And they never, and I think you're waiting on like, what are they going to throw in there? Because they never just do something simply. They always try and throw something a little bit different in. And when you think Wallace and Gromit and all the different contraptions that they have in the different films and how creative that can be for the course, I'm so excited for the 25th of July. And it's only a couple of weeks away.
We're going to have to jump on that one day one and literally just play for it. I think we're going to have to set some time aside and just play that. Because, absolutely. And obviously, if anyone else wants to drop in, as Alyx mentioned earlier on, join the Discord, we'll set up a match, we can all play it together.
Yeah. And we've got all the new mods to play this time as well. So like, obviously, before it was just a normal round of golf, but now you've got the race modes and the match play modes and all the difference. It just opens up so many possibilities, and it makes things a wee bit quicker as well, because sometimes if there's maybe 6 or 8 of you in the game, it can take a wee while to give them a shot. But now that you can play it synchronous, I don't know, I can't think of the right word. I know what I want.
Something in sync is what he's going for. Not the group N sync, but in sync.
Synchronous. I know it's synchronous play, but that's not the word I was wanting to say. But it just means that it doesn't take quite as long, and you still have as much fun. Although you won't necessarily have Phil 2 there to keep you amused, but Reese, you do a good job of that anyway.
So, my poor playing will make you laugh. You will, if you think you're bad at this game, you're in a match with me, and you will instantly think you are the best golf player on Walkabout Mini Golf. I can guarantee you that.
Yes.
I say that, and somebody will be like, "No, you're actually doing better than me," and I'm like, "Oh, damn." But no, I am really looking forward to it. And another thing that we haven't really said as well is I'm looking forward to hunting down the balls on it. I always find looking for the golf balls on Walkabout Mini Golf just as much fun as actually playing the course itself, which is crazy to think about. Like hunting down these various collectibles can be just so fun. Like literally, we'd be flying around the map, looking in the trees and everything like that. And I think that's one of its charms as well that it has. So very, very looking forward to jumping into the Wallace and Gromit one.
Yeah. So I said not a lot of news this week. So that's really the main things I had. Very quickly, I just wanted to mention, I don't know if you've seen this, Reese, but there's been an update to the Quest so that all developers for mixed reality games can turn off the Guardian system. Hallelujah.
I did see this recently pop up, and I'm happy about that. Just because obviously games like, I think I was playing The Cabin at first, and I kept seeing the Guardian system. I was like, this is really ruining it for me. So I'm going to enjoy playing that.
So I know they'd opened it up to select developers at a certain point. Now they've opened it wider, so at least that Guardian system will be gone for MR games once all the developers get a chance to update their games to switch it off. And I think that's the right decision. I mean, you can see what you're doing in mixed reality.
Yeah, there's no reason for a Guardian system. Yeah, there really isn't. I mean, even with just normal VR, I wish you could turn it off and it just come up a warning like, we don't recommend turning this off because if you have an accident, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff to kind of cover themselves, I'd say is the best way of looking at it. But I wish you could just turn it off because I'm so used to my play space, unless it's summer and I've got a fan out. Like earlier on, I did hit the fan earlier on because it was within the play space I'm usually catered to. But I do wish you could just turn it off because sometimes on some games when you move your arm behind your back, the Guardian system will pop up because it thinks your arm's going close to one of the areas. And it's like, no, I know exactly where I am. I'm still in one position. So hopefully they look at doing that in the future. But I also understand with Quest not wanting to do that because there is a lot of families that pick up the device for their kids, and that might be the one thing that actually stops them walking into their 50-inch TV. So who knows?
Yeah. I mean, I would do it. I would be that person that smashed something if I didn't have a Guardian. There's too many things in this room that are breakable.
Just all of a sudden, to take your headset off and the Lego behind you is on the floor. And you're like, oh no, that took me 30 hours.
I'd be on the ground crying.
So I actually remember one game, and even when the Guardian system didn't save me, and that was when I was playing Toss for the first time. And so obviously because you've got to throw your arms up to move yourself. And I was standing, I moved too much to the left and I knocked one of the figures off behind me and it went flying across the room. Fortunately, there was no damage to it, but you should have seen my face. I was like, no, I can't get that again.
That was the game I injured myself on. It was involved. I injured my shoulder playing Toss for one of the first times I played it, and it took me months to actually recover.
Yeah.
But, so bad memories all around with that one, even though it was a good game.
It was a good game.
So again, because we're short in news, we did reach out to our Discord members and look for some questions. We thought take the opportunity, and we do have a couple from Phil. So Phil 1 has been in touch, first time in a wee while. Hello, Phil. So I'm going to put these questions to you because I don't want to answer them. So, are PlayStation really abandoning the PSVR 2, or are they just well aware you can't throw large amounts of money at a niche market? Half-Life Alyx stands out as one of the best VR games made, yet it's unlikely it made Valve much profit, if any at all. So what do you think? Do you think it is they're abandoning it, or they're just trying to cut the losses and still support it in the background?
I always look back to how they managed the PSVR 1, and I keep trying to use that as, I think cope is probably the better word for how they're probably dealing with the PSVR 2. With the PSVR 1, they had the first year, they didn't really drop much, and then the following year they had, I think Farpoint came out in the following year, and then so did Firewall, 0 Hour. Then you had Astrobot, and then a little bit after that, maybe a year after that, you had a hybrid. Well, not really a hybrid. You had a VR version to Concrete Genie. You also had Blood and Truth. So you did get a lot of these first-party IPs that were also connected to other games. Like, I mean, let's look at Supermassive. They did The Impatient, which was connected to the Until Dawn universe, which was a good game. Very short, but it was still pretty decent. It had a few flaws, and some people weren't the biggest fans of it. But from what I played, I enjoyed it. I don't know how it'd stand up now, but it's neither here nor there. So I think I don't. Part of me thinks from back then when the PSVR one came out, they at that point they were trying to really push this headset to be a headset for you to go for. I mean, even to the stay at home campaign where they did these marketing things where you've got a load of games for it. I think they realised that was a good way to do it. But now where Quest is now soared above and these developers are wanting to bring their games over, I think they do have the position just to kind of sit in the background and see which games want to come over to their device and then just let them in. It's not the best way of doing it because I don't think that's what everybody wants to see, especially people like myself and Alyx who have other headsets. We keep seeing games come over, and yes, they play great on it and they look a little bit better. Not all. There has been some where there's been issues, but I think for people with multiple headsets, that's not the best way of looking at it because you're like, okay, I've already played that 8 months ago. But for people that have this as a sole headset, it's not a bad thing. But to think about abandoning it, I want to say no, but at the same point, I feel like I want to say no because I'm just trying to tell myself that. I'm hoping they release a first party game. I need at least one more. I think they need to do something. I was hoping for Blood and Truth sequel. Didn't get that. They closed the studio instead. I think that one, I don't think I could forgive them for that, really. I think I'm pretty sore about that. But I don't think it makes profit. I don't think a lot of the big title games they're going to bring on are going to make any profit for them. I don't think Horizon made them the profit that they thought it was going to as well. Even with selling it the headset, I still don't think that was a game that made them profit because I think GT probably made them more profit than Horizon did. And that's a hybrid game. And I mean, I don't know if they can kind of separate the amount from which people are playing it on VR and look at statistics. But I don't think if there was to make a game like Spider-Man or The Last of Us and get a studio to work on it 2 to 3 years, I don't think they're going to get that back. They might break even, but again, that's a big might. So,
and I suppose it's a good point you make there about doing something like The Last of Us, Spider-Man, which they're not going to do, but that's the kind of title that if you're ever going to shift a system, that's the kind of title that's going to do it because you've got such a huge following for something like Last of Us, and you've going to put a unique story in VR, then that is the one that will make people go and buy your headset because you have the diehard fans who will want to play every game in that series. So it's a hard one, but I don't think they're going to abandon it. And we've had the rumor that they've still got 2 games in development. If we get one more, as you say, I'd be quite happy. I think they'll just hopefully keep maybe popping some money and filling the pockets of some third parties to make sure that there's some good content coming. But I mean, we've had plenty. Well, I'm saying we've had plenty, maybe not first party, but we've never been sitting here going, I'm unhappy at the number of games I've had to play in this PSVR 2.
I'm really happy with the purchase. There's never once that I've looked back at my PSVR 2 purchase and said, I regret that. Not at all. Never. And I can still hand on heart say that to this day, that I've never regretted buying it. I still love the device. I still have a lot of fun with it. I still enjoy the haptics when they're done right. There's still a lot of great things about the headset. But again, like when people do say, oh, do you think they're abandoning it? I do still want to say no. I think the best way I look at it is they're slowing it down. I think they're probably taking a step back and letting other things come to the system to fill out the store a bit more. Because if you do go back and look through the PSVR 1 catalogue, there is a lot of first-party games, but they're not first-party games that you're going to want, I think is the best way of looking at it. They're random things that may have no interest to you. They definitely could 100% ask Insomniac to make a VR game because Insomniac have worked on VR games before. They've made some really good VR games before. And if they brought Spider-Man over to VR, I think that would sell it as well. That would sell the system. And the thing is, there was a Spider-Man tech demo for one of the movies back on the PSVR 1. And I tell you what, jumping off the building as Spider-Man and swinging the web for the first time in VR blew my mind. I remember being in a party chat with some friends and they thought, like, they just didn't know what was going on because I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like, proper swinging around this town. So I hope one day they ask Insomniac to make a small 2 to 3 hour title, not too heavy on the story, just on the gameplay, and do that. I really do hope. But as Alyx did say, if they did Last of Us, that would shift systems. And if I didn't have a PSVR 2, that would have been the one thing that would have made me buy one. Because even when they announced the Last of Us themed headset and a PlayStation 4 controller, I went down and bought it straight away. Didn't need them. Had a good headset, but it had the Last of Us on it, so I bought it. I regret that, but either way,
You don't? Do you really?
I do, because I hated the headset because it hurt my ears.
But you're not supposed to use it.
I love the controller though. The controller was great. Yeah. So I do think that would sell headsets completely, and I really do hope one day they go, let's do this. That'd be a great idea. But I think the one who they could really ask and would have a team behind it to go, yeah, let's actually do that, would be Insomniac. They have people there, I hope they're still there, that have worked on VR and know what to do to make a good VR game. So fingers crossed.
Indeed.
But again, I it's like me and Alex have said a few times, when this PC adapter comes out, I don't necessarily think that's going to be the end, but I do think that's going to be them kind of be like, okay, let's step back, let's do what we've got to do with all these other games coming out, and maybe then have a look at this again in maybe 6 to 12 months' time, seeing how many people are actually still wanting to use the VR on the PSVR 2, or how many of them have now shifted over to the PC VR side of things, how many more have sold and things like that. I think they're really going to take a step back and have a look at all that stuff, which isn't a bad thing for them to do, to kind of see where this headset is and how well it's being used. So, yeah, I'm still optimistic for the future. I think everybody's still kind of sore about Astrobot. I like throwing it in every now and then, because I still to this day see posts about Astrobot not coming to VR, but so
That's what it is.
But very good question. Very good question, Phil.
It did also follow up with another question.
Yes.
So this one a little shouldn't need as long an answer, but let's give this the.
Yeah, we always have to clarify those type of answers as soon as the question PSVR 2 is banned and comes up with it. Okay, we really need to clarify this, because it's going to go either way with how people are going to see it. So,
so his second question: which one of Xbox's franchises / IPs would you most like to see made into a VR game?
I'm going to let you go first.
I mean, I think the obvious one is going to be Gears of War, isn't it?
That's mine. Okay.
I mean, that is the
fucker.
I mean, it's not the one I would have said, but I know that's what you were going to say, so I'm just being a dick. But
yes, Gears of War, definitely. Chainsaw, yep.
Yeah,
just fighting off locusts and things like that. Yeah, that for me, that'd be awesome.
And mainly this is just because I want to see these characters come back to life. And I say it used to be in the Xbox podcast of what game do I want to see them bring back. It'd always be Banjo-Kazooie. Come on. You could just fill that Astrobot hole with a Banjo-Kazooie game. Wouldn't that be nice?
I'm like, there's others that Xbox have dropped in, like some I could throw off the top of my head. State of Decay being one of them. I think that could be quite fun in VR. It's not something that hasn't been done before, but I think it'd be fun.
Hellblade, which has been done.
Halo. I've bought that on Steam. I haven't played it yet. Halo, definitely. I'd like to see that in VR. Only because I've seen some of the mod packs on contractors, and I'm like, why hasn't Xbox want to buy into this? This is so cool. So I'm trying to think. I haven't played a lot of
Starfield.
We've got okay. I was about to say we've got No Man's Sky, but they're completely different in the sense of storylines and things like that. So yeah, I could see that working. Yeah. I would have loved to say Redfall, but after playing it flat, no. But that was only because I liked the idea of it more than anything else. I'd like them to take another crack at Doom VR as well. Doom VFR was okay, but it's not what I wanted from VR at the time. So I think I'd like them to take another crack at that. Certainly, definitely do that.
Lots of IP they could
Fable.
bring.
Fable. Yes. Why didn't I say Fable? That Xbox. You're probably not going to watch this because why would you? But Fable, please, Phil.
So lots of answers for you there, Phil. Tell us what you would like.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Come join Discord. Let us know what you want in VR.
Yes, but thank you very much for the questions, Phil. And that was going to. Before we move on to what we've been playing, once again, this episode is sponsored by Kiwi Design, who specialise in producing and designing accessories for MetaQuest. Whether it be cable management, controller grips, or battery head straps, they have you covered. You can help support us and save a few pounds by heading over to kiwidesign.com or using the link in the description and entering the code CBVR at the checkout to get 5% off. And there are some new Kiwi Design products launching this week, so keep an eye out there. Keep an eye out on the Kiwi Design social media, and you might find, which will be announced by the time this podcast is out, I can mention there is a new comfort head strap and facial interface to replace
Yes.
So
Which
keep an eye out for those.
One thing people constantly ask for all the time is different facial interface, isn't it?
It is indeed, because that stock one really isn't the best.
Yeah, it's fine after you've used it for like 6 months, but then first 6 months your face is red.
Yes. So our main topic for tonight is going to be a review of a couple of upcoming or now released games. But before that, let's have a wee quick roundup of what we've actually been playing this week, Reese. And I'm going to start with Miracle Pool.
Yes.
We played this earlier in the week together, and this was great. Wasn't
Absolutely loved it. Just talking about the smile on my face now. I just want to start off by saying the sense of that pool table being in your room, how kind of it tricks your brain to thinking there is a pool table there, to the point where even when you walk, you don't walk yourself through it, you walk around it. And then even when you was in the room, and I said to you there when we was playing it, I nearly said to you, excuse me, Alex, you're in my way, I need to go grab a drink. But then my mind was like, why? He's not there though. Like literally, my mind was completely tricked while playing this, to the point where I was like dodging around the table. But no, what an awesome game. Like, pool's been done in VR before, but sometimes it can go good or bad. And this is a perfect example of a good pool game. It just works so well. And yeah, I'm so happy with this one.
I mean, and ultimately, pool is pool. You know what it is. It's got all your different options in there, whether it be some trick shots, whether it be a 9-ball, 8-ball, 10-ball, whether it be killer pool in a group. You can play with up to 4 people in a room, and then you can just jump on and off. Like, winner stays on for 2 people going into a game each time, and then it's quite a good social experience. And yeah, this is brilliant. Probably the best pool game I've tried in VR. I have tried a few, and this is by far the best. I think probably the most surprising thing was the size of the pool table when you were trying to get it in your room. It was huge.
When the big pool table was there at first, I was like, like, am I supposed to walk around this? And I remembered you can rotate the table. So, like, don't be put off by this game if you do have a smaller room. You can rotate the pool table and stand in one position if you want and kind of move left and right. Because the way you can rotate the table, it will make it so you can do your shots. But with that, you might have to move a little bit, but not too much. You'll just see your pool table clipping through your wall, which might aggravate your brain a little bit, but you can still play the game. I think we opted for the small table, and even then, like, that was still a large table.
But it was even like the small things. So, like, if you were playing just friendly games with each other, and there's a lot of like solo modes you can do, and like building up levels and unlocking different pool tables and queues and customizations. But even just playing like a friendly game between the two, at the end of the game, it drops a trophy down, which you can then lift up and pose with, which again is just a great idea just to do that, which we had to do and take pictures of. Like, it's that great social experience. I think and particularly in mixed reality, when you can then see the other people like wandering about your room, kind of,
it did like
it fills you a little bit. Like, it definitely does. But I'd highly recommend picking this up. It's not expensive, and well worth every penny, I think.
Highly recommend it. Had a blast. Yeah, definitely.
So, I mean, that's really all. Well, I was going to say that's all. Not all I've been playing. We'll talk about what else I've been playing a bit later. But that's the only other thing I've been playing. I know you've played a little bit more, Reese. Did you want to get
I've jumped into a couple of different games. So the other one I played this week was Half-Life Alyx. Or should I say this week? It's probably last week. So I finally picked it up on the Steam sale, and I'm so happy I did. When everybody says this is one of the best VR games ever made, I now understand as to why they've been saying this is one of the best VR games ever made. The sense of it just being VR, everything is interactable. You know, you can just walk up to a table and just start moving that table around. You can move chairs, cups, glasses. You know, everything's interactable with the front of your gun. You know, the enemies when you've killed them. It's insane how much depth this game has. But the thing that's really making me enjoy it more so than the actual gameplay is the story. The voice acting, it's just hilarious. It's a lot of fun. And I think I jumped on to play it for about an hour, and I ended up playing for 2 hours, even though my back started hurting a little bit because the way when I aim in VR, I kind of arch my back a little bit and kind of go low down to aim. So doing that obviously for prolonged periods of times, I kind of really should find some better ways to aim, but that's the way it kind of makes me feel like I'm immersed in that experience. But being in the world of Half-Life in VR was just mind blowing, and it looks fantastic. Like the lighting, the rain on the floor, just the lighting just blew me away. But no, this is I'm probably gonna say this is one of the best VR experiences I've had, and I've played a lot of games, a lot. It's shot up to it is like if I was to like form a top 10 VR games list, it would be in that top 10.
Yeah.
And I think anyone that plays it that likes shooting games and likes games that have some form of horror, not a horror in the sense of like you're gonna be shaking in your boots kind of thing. It's more of some areas might be a little bit dark and you have to have a torch and things like that, so you might get a little bit jumpy. But yeah, I think this is one of them games that everyone needs to play, and I'm just so happy I finally got around to playing it. But no, just wanted to kind of scream about that one a little bit this week because I know we mentioned it last week about playing Half-Life Alyx, and I even noticed a Paradise Decay comment. He's like, "You haven't played Half-Life Alyx yet? Why not?" And then I said to him at the time, "I haven't had it. It's on sale." So yeah, I hadn't got around to playing it, so I'm glad I finally did get around to it. But no, definitely everyone should grab that. If you are planning on getting your PC upgraded, I believe by the time this episode still goes out, you still have time to get it on the Steam sale for, I think it's just under £17. Definitely do it. Don't think about it. Like if you know you're going to be getting that PC adapter for your PSVR 2, get it. Don't wait on it. Just get it now while it's on sale. And there's a lot of other Steam VR games on sale there as well. So definitely have a little peruse through there because you're going to get quite a good few that are not on the PSVR 2. So yeah, highly recommend it.
It's one of those, like, now that I can finally play, now I've got my Quest back and I can play PC VR and I've got my cables and I've got everything I need to do. I need to finally pick it up and play it. And I think it's an interesting one, as you say, how good it looks and how it jumps right up to your top experiences. And I think it brings that argument around of why has VR really made many strides forward, because that's still the pinnacle. Not maybe not the pinnacle for everyone, but it's still
It's like
seen
2
as
years,
like
2 years
probably,
old as well.
I think it's longer. It's more than that. I think
it was 2022.
I thought it was.
I'm
more,
gonna
but
quickly load up Steam while we're
maybe it is only 2 years, but in my head,
while we're doing that,
that.
we'll quickly ramble on a little bit so I can quickly just find out. But I think one of the things that I really did like about it, and it was with the story, and there was just a bit at the start when you first get your gun, and he throws it out the window to you, and he goes, "Oh, don't worry, it's not loaded," and he throws it out the window, and it hits the floor, and it shoots. He's like, "Well, it's not loaded now," and I just burst into laughter. Like it was just such a silly moment, and yeah. Oh wow! It's actually more than 2 years old. It released back on the 23rd of March, 2020.
I thought it was more.
This looks like, even then, just like saying that now, like when you realize it's 4 years old, you look at it, you go, this looks equally as good as what came out. Like it's like I was saying with VR last week, we were talking about PC VR and just games that just look great on it, even though they're like 4 or 5 years old. It's insane. But yeah, no, you definitely need it. It's great. Definitely get that one. I'm shocked that's 4 years old. That did not feel like 4 years old.
No. And it's quite surprising when you come to being that old, and that's like for it still to hold up and probably still look as good as it does. Like it's exceptional.
I think the only thing I said it didn't really hold up on is when you got to go through like a window or something. I was like putting my arm forward to grab on the window frame to pull myself through, but no, you just got to hold the analog up and it'll pull you through. And there's certain other bits that will ask you to do that as well, but that's the only thing that doesn't feel modern day VR. Everything in this game, other than that, feels modern day VR. So, yeah.
Speaking of modern day VR, you've been playing something new as well.
I have. I jumped into Captain Toonhead versus the Punks from Outer Space. I loved it. That's how I'm going to start. I loved it. So I intended to jump into this for about 30 minutes to an hour just to get a good feel of it, to kind of talk a little bit about it on the podcast tonight. and I end up sitting there going through the first chapter. And I think I'm nearly done with the second chapter. I played some of the arcade machines as well. But if you're somebody who enjoys tower defense games where you have to organize your turrets and things like that while also interacting and shooting things coming towards you in like a wave form of like a line, they come through a door and have to reach the base. And you'll have these cubes and you've got to protect these. So when they come up to the cubes, they'll grab them, they'll try and run them back to the portal. So you need to stop them from taking the cubes. And yeah, it was just wacky. It's silly. The gun mechanics are really good. The power ups you get, the different turrets or turrets, I think they're called. I might be saying that wrong, but it gives them a silly name in the story. Which I'm going to say the story of this, I didn't actually expect there to be like a full scale story. There's voice acting, and it's just silly. It's so stupid, and it's a good stupid. So when I say the word stupid here, it's one of the things that's just going to make you laugh and chuckle at these various different things, the way it's played out. But no, I had a lot of fun with this one. There's a lot to do, and I don't know how long the story goes on for, but if I did 2 hours into it, and I only got near the end of the second chapter, I'd say you've got some good time in it. It has got a platinum trophy as well. If you're somebody who wants to sink some time in to get that. The only thing I did notice, because before you upgrade your weapons, you don't have full auto on your pistols, so you constantly have to spam the triggers. After the third level, my fingers were absolutely killing me because like the whole time I was just like proper like spamming them, and I was trying to figure out better ways to do it a bit better. And yeah, no, that wasn't working. So when I think it's after maybe the second or third level, the story kind of progresses a little bit, and they find a way how to upgrade your equipment. And so what I did then was basically I started upgrading the pistols, and then you can upgrade the turrets as well. So basically, the way it works, when you upgrade the turrets in your actual upgrade hub, when you're in the actual game itself, you can throw your hammer at them after they've killed enough of the enemies, and then you can upgrade them so they'll be better. And that works with all the different turrets. And like I said, the more you play, the further you progress, there's more turrets. And yeah, I didn't expect myself to get so gripped to it, because it's a simple shooter in a sense. Yes, there's the tower defense side of it, but I think as far as shooting mechanics go, there's no locomotion. You're not moving around. You can teleport to each turret location if you want to, or you can just stand right at the back. But no, this is one I think I'm going to jump back into quite a lot, and I think it's going to be one of them ones where I find myself playing more and more and wanting to do better, just because it kind of gave me that enjoyment that I had from Gazlers, where
Right.
I couldn't stop playing it even though I had finished it. I wanted to keep playing it, and yeah, I think this is definitely one. But I'm glad they've brought this over to the EU store, because otherwise I probably wouldn't have played it as quick as I did. So really happy I did.
I think from a name like Captain Toonhead, I can't even see it. Captain Toonhead versus the punks from outer space, you'd expect it to be a little bit daft, and I'm glad to hear that it is. And I think when you look at it, the art style is like that proper cartoony way. I think it looks fun. It looks quite fresh. And it just,
The
I'm
voice
really looking
acting's
forward to
really good.
trying this.
It's-
Yeah,
I th- So yeah, I think that's one of the things I always say as well, is like, if voice acting's bad on a game, sometimes you just get put off. But like, even your character's voice, he's just so optimistically silly. And yeah, like it just like, even from the intro, I mean, like the start of the game, it starts off silly. You go, oh okay, I see where the tone is of this game. You know what you're getting into. So no, I think you'll have some fun with it. I know you're not a
yeah.
big fan of shooty, shite.
No, but as long as it's not like shoot, like
This is
count
arcade
more as
shooty,
yeah,
shite.
that's fine.
Yeah,
It's not like Veil or
nah.
Breaches or some nonsense like that. Like
Yeah,
it's
you don't like competitive shooters. You don't
no,
mind your nah.
I like
I
my
think this
arcade
is
shooters.
yeah. I think this is something a lot of people are going to like, and you have so like, I forgot to mention, like, the way you kind of collect coins and things like that. What scrap is called. You have to throw your hammer at them, but if you're not close enough to it, you have to then upgrade your hammers. And yeah, it's very silly, and I'm happy with it. Really am. So definitely, from what I've played so far, which is like I said, nearly finished the second chapter, I recommend it from what I've played so far, and that's really just scratching the surface. I've not fully upgraded anything yet. I've nearly upgraded my ship, but I'm having a blast. Really, really am.
Well, I look forward to trying it. But one that maybe I'm not looking forward to trying quite as much. We've spoken a little bit of this between us. So will we get the bad one out of the way first, Reese? Do you want to go
Yeah, I think we
with
should
our
get the bad
first
one out
review
of the
of
way.
the night?
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm trying to think of the best way to approach this other than. Okay, we spoke about this last week with saying shovelware coming to the PSN store for PSVR 2, which I said to Alex is a great way to summarize it. So the game we're obviously talking about is the Street 10 VR. The Street 10, again, like we said last time, was originally a PlayStation non-VR game where you're stuck in a never-ending street. The story is only ever told through the PlayStation description. So in my sense, it doesn't have a story. If the story's not told in a game, then it doesn't have a story. You know, if you have to read a synopsis, then it's not elevating on that.
Yeah.
So basically, the way it works is you start at the start at one position in the street, which is just one end of it. You walk forward and take note of what's happening in the street, and then you progress to the other end. If the street is normal and nothing seems weird, that's fine. Keep walking forward. If it does look weird in any way, you walk backwards. You'll notice if something's weird. Sometimes you won't because it is a bit odd how it's done. But by weird, I mean like the vending machine being upside down, there being too many zebra crossings, the pedestrian being small, shrunk, have no hair, his hair will be blue. It's just silly things that are just so random. Which, in a sense, some people might go, seems like quite a fun little spot the difference type game. What you have to do, you're looking around in VR, that's nice. But when you say VR, and this is the real kicker for me, and this is where instantly when I loaded it, I just went, "What the fuck?" And that is, you have no hands. There's no way to interact with anything in this world. You are basically playing a non-VR game, and your head is the camera. That's the best way to look at this. Is you are moving with the analog. The movement's full locomotion, and then you have snap turning. So there's no way to change this. There's no options. So if you don't like snap turning, then you're not gonna enjoy it in any way. But the movement is really bad. Like when you're looking forward and you press the analog up to move forward, it does not move forward. It kind of moves at an angle to the left. So then you're hitting the wall, and then you kind of have to, you really have to work out how to do this perfectly. So it was a big issue progressing in. Obviously, people that collect trophies are probably going to want to play this because I did get the platinum in about 30 minutes, I think it was, and you can really cheese it if you don't want to sit in this game for any longer than you should. And when I say when you should, you probably shouldn't sit in it at all. It's not fun. It's, I don't know if that's the worst way of putting it, saying it's not fun. I had fun at one point, and I don't know if that's the best word. Again, still, it's really hard to describe because it wasn't fun. It was more of like when I was looking around for the things that were strange in the street and proper looking around, I was going, oh, this could be quite cool. But then at the same point, my mum was going, but what about if I could look at these things that are strange with my hands and pick them up? So everything about what I like about VR was not here. So the fun was then quickly, backtracked to just not being fun because it wasn't VR. So if you do want a VR experience, you're not going to get this from this. This is just you being a camera, basically. And for that, I don't recommend picking it up. Is the best way of looking at it. Unless you really, really want a platinum trophy, then by all means grab it. But again, if it's anything more than, I'm trying to think of the best price to say. I don't think I'd pay anything more than £1 for this. Or I think the original was £2.50. So like I'd probably say if it's anything more than £2.50, then don't bother. And the reason, and even then, if you're wanting a VR game and not trophies, don't bother at all. But if you're really going, oh, do you know what? I like collecting my VR platinums, then you're going to get your platinum from it. You're not going to feel good about getting that platinum. You're going to get a platinum. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this is. I don't even. It's not even fine for non VR really for them to keep doing it. But I feel like when you bring it over to the PSVR 2, and let's be honest, the PlayStation VR community is very passionate about what's getting on their system, what's coming over. They moan when certain Quest games come over and go, oh, it's just shovelware from Quest. No, when you see shovelware, this is the truest form of shovelware you will ever see on any device. It's not good. It's there purely for a platinum trophy.
It's just, I really hope this is not the start of a trend.
No.
Because it's not. It's not what PSVR 2 needs. It doesn't start to need that stigma attached to it where you can just go and pay £2 for the platinum and really shit game. But it's we don't want that.
It's a shame. It's a shame. And we did kind of last week say, let's hold our horses. We'll check it out and see if it is any different to the non-VR version. We hadn't played the non-VR version, but I am fully aware of what the non-VR version is because I have looked at it previously before, because the picture on the store makes it look like it's really high-fidelity graphic games. It is not. It is not a high-fidelity graphic game. There is no, good lighting, reflections, and things like that. No, it's pretty bland. So I do know of the non-VR version, and I have looked at that before, and by the looks of it, there is no difference. I don't know if there's any difference in the trophies, but at the end of the day, it's still a 10 to 30 minute completion. Unless you're somebody that goes, I just want to complete a game once and not go for a platinum, in which case you're probably going to complete this in 5 minutes. So that alone, that's not a reason. Yeah. So unfortunately, no, not for me. Did get a nice shiny platinum though, which will forever stay on my profile as you did this. Be proud of yourself.
And you will be. Don't pretend that you're not happy. You still got platinum. Like you can sit there and try and pretend. Oh, I wish that platinum wasn't on my trophy list.
Oh no, I've got some. I mean, I've got My Name Is Mayo platinum. I mean, I'm not judging any.
That's a good game though.
I mean, you're just pressing a button, dude.
Yeah, but it was done quite funny. Like they did actually.
Yeah, I really found it hilarious.
Some of those games, it was quite funny.
Yeah, some of them are, but no, I think if we do see this become a trend, I think that would be enough for me to go, I'm going to steer clear of that PlayStation Store. Like, the one thing I like about the PlayStation Store at the moment is it's not, like, overflowing with too many games. And it's like we said before, when you go through the Quest Store or sometimes you go through the Steam VR Store, it can be really difficult to find a game that goes, that looks pretty good. I want to take a look at that. Whereas the PlayStation Store, you go for it and you see a title card and you go, oh, that looks pretty good. And you'll get that feeling quite a lot. But if we get to the point where it's just these random, title cards with just very poorly logoed and things like that, you're not going to have that feeling anymore. You're going to start seeing these games for £2, £3, going up to 10. But no, personally, I'd say avoid it unless you truly are a trophy hunter that just wants an easy platinum, and then by all means grab it. But again, as for a VR game, it's not that. It's not.
So let's lift the mood a little bit, Luis.
Yes.
I mean, that's brought the mood right down.
Let's
bring it right back up. Let's bring the party.
Let's raise the roof, as they say.
Yes. So our next game is Spin Rhythm XD. So Spin Rhythm XD, it's hard to describe. It's a hybrid rhythm game, and there's not really a lot. I'm not saying there's not a lot more to say about it, because there is, but ultimately it's just another rhythm game, but it is a very good rhythm game. In terms of rhythm games, I'd say it falls more into your thumper rhythm game than a Beat Saber rhythm game. It's not a really involved game where you're moving about and you're kind of being really active. It's one you can sit and play. It's so well done. Like, it looks amazing, like the way every track works. And in the simplest form, you basically have like a rhythm wheel in front of you, and then you've got these different notes that are coming towards you, and you need to hit those notes in the right color and in the right way. So it might be that you just need to line up against them. It might be that you need to tap into them and hit them on the beat. It might be you need to spin the wheel one way or another way. You might have to scratch the wheel, almost in terms of it's almost kind of. And that's maybe a good way of describing it. It's almost more like DJ Hero or something like that than it is like
it's a good way of putting
a Guitar Hero type thing. But
yeah,
the soundtrack's really good, the scoring's really good, the presentation's really good. You've got it uses the interactive leaderboard sections of the PS5, so you've got your like top of the leaderboard, you're fifth in the leaderboard, and it gives you your notifications and all that. I know some people don't like that, but I personally do like that. You get your rating for every song. It shows you like you've got so many different things to look at a song, whether it be like a full combo, whether it be a perfect full combo. Um, it's yeah, it's great.
I
Like I
think,
love this game.
yeah, I think the one thing when I loaded it up that just made me go, like, mind blowing moment was the sheer amount of tracks on this game
Yeah,
from day one for you to play. Like a lot of games release maybe with 12 to 20 tracks and then kind of add a few here and there. I think this has 60 plus tracks or something like that. They're all very similar in the sense of the genre, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're bad. And there is actually some that I knew on here as well from music that I listened to like a long, long time ago. So it's nice to play them songs again and like kind of sing along to them and vibe out with them, because ultimately that's what you want on a rhythm game as well. You want to play them
mm-hmm.
songs that you know and kind of really have that feeling. Um, I think the one thing I'm going to touch on that really shocked me as well was the amping of difficulty when you go up. So you start on easy. It's literally just you rotate around from blue to the pinky color, or whatever because you can customize your wheel as well in the
Yeah.
menu, full customization to it, which is really cool. But no, the amping of difficulty is like, that's too easy. Let's go up to medium. Nah, that's too easy. Let's go up to hard. I was like, whoa, yes,
Back down. Thanks very much.
there's another difficulty above this one, isn't there? I'm just ignore that and go back down. Like it goes from having to go from just selecting to the blue to green, and then the way it kind of works is you have to tap as well. So you have to like hit your wand down. I say wand because in the game it kind of looks a bit like a wand that you're using. So you have to hit it down to tap and then follow it along. Then you've got the one where you have to scratch and spin it, which obviously adds to the spin rhythm because you are literally spinning this wheel round. But if you go higher on the difficulty, then you have one where you have to press the trigger as well, for like the green line, which was pretty cool. It did kind of, there's some songs I could do, but then I went back to some others and I was like, no, I can't do that. That's too difficult. So it does offer a good challenge as well for a rhythm game. Um, you tried it in non VR as well, didn't you? Because
I
I think
did, yeah, and
always
that's
touch on
probably a good
this.
point. Yeah, so it's a
Yeah,
hybrid game, and this game did come out in the Switch last year.
yeah,
It might have been the year before, but certainly it's been out in the Switch, and it was well loved in the Switch. Um, I don't think it even touches a VR game when you play it in flat. It's just it works and you can play it. And if it was the only option you had, I think you would still enjoy it. But if you have the option to play this in VR, it's head and shoulders above the flat version, in my
yeah.
opinion. It's almost like a different game, even though it's not. Like it is the same game on flat or in VR. Obviously, the mechanics are just different, but the presentation is very slightly different.
Definitely.
It's just head and shoulders. It elevates it so much that this is the way to play this game.
So the first time I played it was obviously in VR, and I was like, okay, I'll give it a go in the non-VR, just out of curiosity. I'm probably not going to play that version of it, but I'll give it a go anyway. And I played it with the touchpad to kind of do the spin wheel. I couldn't get on with it at all. I was like, this doesn't really work well, in my opinion. And then it's tapping down. And then I realised you can actually play it with the analog. I didn't know that at first. And then I started getting a little bit more enjoyment out of the controller method when playing it with the analog. Still opted back for the VR version because it did make me go, okay, this is the ultimate way to play this game. For me, anyway. Other people that have played this on other systems probably love playing the controller, but I think for somebody playing VR games primarily most of the time, yeah, it just felt nice actually tapping your hand down to tap on the actual things and going from there. I think it was a good way of doing it. But then I got to admit, I'm glad I did try the non-VR version because then I realised that I could actually use the analog in the actual VR version and use that to move the wheel around if I wanted to. So I'm going to say as well, if you struggle with kind of rotating the wheel by gripping it and rotating it with the wand, you can use the analog as well. And there's that kind of level of finding what's comfortable for you as a player. And I'm really happy they did this. They didn't just go, no, this is the way you need to play it. You need to do it with the wand, because it really does make doing some of them levels that are maybe a little bit quicker. You can be quite quick, even dual methoding and using the analog and then the wand as well. So I think they did a really good job with that. So no, I'm really impressed with this one. I think I wouldn't say it's shot up to become like one of the best VR rhythm games I've ever played because,
No.
again, although it is VR, it's a very, it's like a, it's kind of like me. medium VR. I mean, it's not like you don't feel like you're doing every
more
VR.
Casual. It's casual
Yeah.
VR.
I played it sitting down most of the time, and I had an absolute blast. So yeah, I mean, I had a lot of fun with it. But no, it's really good, really good one.
As highly recommended. Definitely like, gets our stamp of approval. Like
Yeah.
even you can basically customize like everything that you can see on the screen, all the colors, spin wheel.
That's what I loved as well.
Like,
the level of customization.
Yeah, and you unlock them all as you're like you're getting leveled up with every. It's got that really good like gamification to it in terms of you're always leveling up and you're always doing the next thing and
then
that
buying the
unlocks more
next-
customizations and buying more
keys.
tracks and it just
I love
keeps
the
you
way
going.
the keys unlock as well. That was really cool,
Yeah.
just doing that. And you don't have to buy the songs in any order they want. You have to buy a few from one section, and you can go on to the next section. You can buy which ones that sound good to you. And yeah, I liked that. I liked I didn't feel limited to what I had to do for them. It was basically what I wanted to do, and really happy.
Me too. So yeah, that is Spin Rhythm XD, and that is out. And the day this podcast dropped on the 12th. No, not the 12th of July. Is it the 12th? No.
Is it 12th of July?
I don't know.
What date is it next week?
It's the 9th of July.
Alexa,
sorry.
what day is it next week?
It's Infinite Inside that comes out the 12th of July. This goes
out the 9th
of July, which is the day that this podcast drops. So as you're listening to this now, this should be available. So I would highly recommend you go and play it.
Yeah, I do. And I also do recommend you check the non-VR version, then go into the VR or vice versa, just to kind of go to yourself. And I think it really shows you as the player how different they both feel. And I think it's really nice because it kind of gives you that instant like, oh, I'm happy I've got the way to play it this way. So, no, done a really good job on it. I'm happy with it.
And I'm sure we'll be talking about it in weeks to come. And Laurie's been playing it as well, so I'm sure he'll
want to throw his wording in
next week when he's back. But I think that brings us to the end of another episode, Reese. So thank you once again for joining me. As I said at the beginning, I am on holiday, so I will not be here next week. I'm not disappearing again. I'll be back the week after. Well,
I thought you was coming back. I thought you was coming back in just to do that one episode.
Sorry. I'm going on my holidays. Bye bye. But I will see you in a couple of weeks. Reese will be back here next week as always. And thank you for listening. Please do like, subscribe, leave us a little review if you can. Every little helps, as they say. But thank you again. And until then, it's goodbye.